to the Cinementalists. Noun, plural. Definition, those whose love for movies runs so deep, they can't help but do a podcast about them. Hosted by Colton Robertson and Joseph George. Hello everybody and welcome in to a new year on the Cinementalists, where we are kicking it all off with Past Lives, released on June 23rd, 2023, written and directed by Celine Song. I'm Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it is always a pleasure to have you. Past Lives. This is one for a very long time. A very long time we've discussed it to the point that it's actually unbelievable we've never done an episode dedicated to it. It feels as though we have. There's probably enough on-air content of us mentioning Past Lives to sustain an episode. But we're going to finally do it. We're going to commit to it. Past Lives. Give me a little background for you. When's the first time you watched it? How'd you feel about it? How do you feel about it now upon revisiting?
It's actually kind of crazy because I thought the first time that I did watch it was for the I thought it was for the 52-year journey, so around that era. But I do believe it was for that reason, or I think it was actually we were forming a top list of the 20s. I think we did that at there's a long history. The thing is that the history of the podcast it's long. It's longer than you remember, really. Because the top movies of the 20s that occurred at the beginning of last year. That was a year ago, January 2024. Okay.
The thing that we did this. The thing that you almost certainly watched this for was our 2023 movie awards, we did the top 120s at the beginning of 2025. It is now 2026.
Yes. I guess my first log date is February 2024. So
yep, that would have been right before that. We would have done the awards in March of 2024 because that's when the Oscars were. So yes, that is when you
dominated the awards. It was just like I think like it just won so.
We nominated for best original screenplay, best cinematography, best director, best actress, best supporting actor, like all the stuffs it could have gotten nominated for. I think we did, and with good reason, man. I love this movie.
Yeah, and so that was the first viewing, and this only was the second one.
No shit.
Yeah, I know. And it was like a movie that I could always it's weird. It's like I don't need to watch the movie to put me right in exactly how it makes me feel. It's like and it also was, I feel like I've always kind of had this perspective kind of on love of like if you had a true love, or even if it wasn't a relationship, just kind of like here it's like that can never truly leave, or like it's always going to be a part of you. And like it is this weird, the gray area, or is kind of like, how do you move on? How do you continue? How do you say it to your next lover? Like you don't want to be like, oh, I'm so in love with this person, but like, right, with the person.
And it tackles the way love doesn't die, like, and it reshapes and you change, and a version of you is still loves that person, but it's not the version you are, and I think that's, I think, you spoke to the fact that you don't even have to watch it to remember how this movie made you feel. This is the first podcast we're doing in a very, very, very long time, if ever, that I actually did not watch the movie to do a podcast about it.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
I've watched it 6 times. It's tough. Oh no, it's not not for this one. This one.
I could say it's
this
easy,
one. I've got it. Yeah, I've watched this movie 6 times. Most recently was like a month and a half ago. So that's the other thing, is that I did watch it recently. It's not like it's last time I watched it was last summer. No, I did watch it recently, just not the night preceding us recording. But it just sticks with me, man. There's something about it that every time I watch it, I wonder if the end is going to get me again, and every time it does. There's most recent time I watched this, it was between the hours of 1:45 and 3:30 in the morning, which, and I did it in November during our Nostalgia November sort of thing that we had going. So it was just like, I mean, all the feelings just welling, you know, and it felt good, dude. And 3:30 a.m. I wake Emily up with choking sobs. No big deal. It is what it is. She goes, "Baby, you okay?" I go, "I'm watching Past Lives." She goes, "Oh, okay." And rolls over.
I understand.
You know,
yeah.
she's like, "Oh, yeah, that's right.
I get exactly
this is how you react to this. Yeah, this is how you react to this." And yeah, I adore it. And there's just so many moments, whether it's performance based or visually or the way lines were written and conceived of, and just so many things that put together end up making what is very genuinely one of my favorite, if not my favorite romance movie of all time. And I'm not going to declare it as my favorite romance movie of all time, but it's definitely amongst a very, very big top tier. To be fair, it's my favorite genre. So like, there's a lot there.
It's a tough question there, because is it the movie itself that is so good, or like, I feel like the reason why I can attach to this movie more, like, than say, like, we're coming up on Titanic, which is like, I'd say more known as like, that's a classic love, you know, that's like just goated romance.
That's a romance movie. Yeah.
But that's, I feel like, more for the spectacle of the movie and like everything else. This is just as real as, I mean, just normal life. Yeah. You know, we're not on a ship. We're not in some crazy, you know, situation that doesn't really, you know, what we're seeing here, like, happens to everyone. Like, it's
a very, very relatable story. And I love that it's relatable even if you don't relate to every aspect. Like, just emotionally, I see myself in all three of the main cast members here. But for obviously very different reasons than, you know, a Korean American person would see themselves in Greta Lee's character, you know, or anything like that. There's just a really, really believable, I don't know, immersiveness to Past Lives that just sucks you in and keeps you there. And, you know, I think the visual aspects really, really play a key part in that, but I think the score plays an even as big a role in that. It's one of my favorite scores. I actually listed it in our top 5, or give me your top 5 one-on-one episode a couple months back. I mean, it's beautiful. Christopher Bear fucking just destroyed that. It's so smooth and elegant and loving, and just, it can be happy when you want it to be happy. It can be sad when you want it to be sad, and it just feels right for the film. And you know, Greta Lee though, she's the ticker, you know, she's the reason this movie works as well as it does, in my opinion. There's just such a humanity there, and the evolution of her, you know, mid-20s or early 20s to mid-30s in that jump, and to like be able to perceive that as a viewer. She's not the same person she was 12 years ago, and she's physically the same fucking person who is actually acting at the same time. She didn't film this 12 fucking years ago, you know, like it's really, really impressive the way she's able to portray the weight of life. And you know, it's not like it's destroying her. It's not like it's weighing her down. It's just living. And that's, it's just real. And I love that about it.
There's no Flash, no superheroes, no action, anything. It is just pure human story. And that is it. Like, there's just I don't know, you boil what actually happens down to the story, you know, and you can, you know, in bed, you know, that scene where they're in bed together, Arthur's just kind of like, damn, how can I compete? You know, you have your long lost, you know, young lover, and returns after 24 years, and like, yeah, what am I supposed to do? You know, and it's like, crazy that the first viewing that I had, I remember saying, like, no, she's gonna leave Arthur. Like, I was like firmly in that camp. I was kind of
we've had very, very few adamant disagreements about movies. And this was one of them, where we were like, I was like, I can't get with you on this, Joe. I don't see it that way.
I've come back around, I guess now.
Okay.
This viewing, it very much solidified. I think it was more like I was just kind of in Arthur's wheelhouse a little bit of like, man, this is such a good love story. It is kind of what you want to happen, strangely enough, even though like it does make more sense to obviously stay with the person that you're married with, that like you actually had your adult life with, and not just the 12-year-old kind of, you know, even if it was special and everything like it.
No,
but
it's very singular, but it's impractical. And obviously she's a very, very, she says, you know, oh yeah, I'm going to run away, you know, with him. What, you think I just leave everything I'm doing behind for some guy, which isn't even, she doesn't even put the notion like, I wouldn't leave you for him. She's like, I wouldn't leave what I've got going on for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's not exactly the most reassuring thing, but he understands her, you know, like there's a line at the end of one of the scenes there where he says, I know you, you know, I think it's that scene, you know, he says, I know you. And that is one of the most important lines of the movie, because Hae-sung knows who she was and understands that he is no longer what this version of her needs or wants, you know, and there was never really a version of her that ever needed him. It was just, there was a really fascinating chemistry between them that did, again, make them feel young and made them nostalgic, and it made them feel like they were made for each other, like they were born to it. And he, unfortunately, never let it go until the end of this movie.
He's, you know, and still, I think he did get there. That might be the thing I'm still up in the air a little bit, is if Hae-sung is truly over that. But I think
as over it as he can be, you know, that like, that's the thing, is that, like we said, if love doesn't really die, then no, he's never 100% over it. But I think he's comfortable with the notion that they won't end up together. You know, like he understands that that's the case. Like there's actually a very key visual moment that I hadn't noticed until probably the most recent time I watched it, which is this image after their date when they're 12, or 10 or however old they are, where their parents are driving in the front seat, and she's resting her head on his shoulder, and he's looking out the car window, driving from screen left to screen right, which is the last shot of the movie, by the way. But
God.
That's the thing is that in that moment, he's thinking this might be the last time I ever see her. And at the end of the movie, it really is probably the last time he ever sees her. And you know, like they make those hollow gestures at the end of the movie. It's like, you know, if you're ever in Korea, you know, you can stay with me, look me up, And she's not going to Korea. He's not coming back to America. At least that's how I look at it. You know, like and if they do, fuck yeah, you know, whatever happens, happens. But like, poetically, the way the story works out here, I think this is the last interaction, you know, like it's healthy for Hae-sung to not come back, and it's healthy for her not to go see him.
Yeah, the in-yoon, you know, but even Hae-sung does say to Arthur, like, we have in-yoon, you know, and Arthur does blow it off. I love that moment. Arthur's going through it, you know, he's kind of having a night, you know, so he's kind of like, oh, yeah, we have in-yoon. So he kind of, you know, at first is kind of like, oh, God, like this, I didn't even get that far. He's like, this is just even worse. But I think, like, Arthur, in a way, he kind of has to go through this really sad, like, it's sad is maybe the wrong word. It's like this, it's jealousy, I think. Like is jealous, you know, and sad, but like he's still confident, I guess, that he does truly know her. You know, he has to still have that trust in her, and everything. But like he has to go through this kind of ultimate down moment so that they can have this final kind of, you know, it is their final goodbye, you know, and you don't want it to be, you know, a messy like argument. No, like they both realize they're both adults now. They had their goodbye, and it was a great moment, you know. But like, Arthur being there, it's just kind of the consequence of that beautiful moment,
of life.
I feel like
life, like, and that's the thing too, is that when it comes to Arthur, Arthur is obviously third fiddle. There's no doubt about that. But, like, and I don't know if it's just because he is the only character not going through something that's like, you know, she feels like a certain tie to her, to where she comes from, and he feels a tie to where he comes from, and they bring out this side of each other that, you know, defies, you know, like he says, is this what you think your parents imagined for you when you immigrated? And she's like, are you saying, are you my Korean parents' immigrant dream? You know, like, of course he's not. Like, that's impractical. Again, it's impractical to believe that. And that's what's so beautiful about the movie is it takes concepts as poetic and beautiful as love and stuff that's meant to be and stuff that's supposed to be, and it breaks them down to a real place. Like, it makes me look at Arthur and go, he's a really impressively evolved gentleman.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, to have the sense of security he does in this movie while still communicating that he is insecure about it. Like, you know, he's not trying to be like, he's like, it's really unfair of me to be upset. You know, like, I shouldn't be upset. And, you know, she in kind tells him, no, it's okay. You know, like, you can be, that's all right. I completely understand. And he's like, but no, like, that he flew 13 hours to be here. He came to see you. He's your childhood sweetheart, you know, like, what am I going to do? You know, like, it's not like you're going to run away with him. You're not going to run away with him, right? You know, so again, like, he communicates those insecurities and, you know, he lets it go a little far, you know, whenever he does have that conversation in bed where he's, you know, he ends up anchoring it very sweetly, but it does start from a place of bare bones insecurity where he's like, you know,
you dream it.
He's just laughing, you know. You know. Well, that's where I think he anchors it sweetly. It's prior to that, whenever he goes, you know, whenever he's talking about how he's the evil white American husband who's keeping her from destiny and stuff, and he's and he, like, you know, you can tell it's eating at him, and he needs to talk to her about it, but he doesn't know how to broach the topic, so he just kind of goes like this, which is a classic "I need to talk" noise. The fucking scoff. That's like, God, I'm ridiculous. Like, that is such a dude thing. That is such a guy moment that, like, I found it so intensely relatable, specifically in that setting, specifically at that moment. She's about to fall asleep, and he just goes, and, like, you know, it's over after that. Like, it's not the healthiest.
The conversation, but you don't actually. So you know, it's like man.
You know, you have to talk about something, but you really, really don't want to. You know, and that's why I like Arthur is, to me, probably the quintessentially relatable character in the movie. Now, obviously, I've experienced nothing quite like what Arthur goes through in this movie. But again, that also comes from the fact that I am a white American. That makes me feel like that is the most relatable character in the movie. There's also the fact that I think Hai Sung, I relate to Hai Sung a lot as far as the hopeless romanticism of it. Like, he's chasing the past. Again, we talked about this a little bit with Great Gatsby. He's a little bit of a Jay Gatsby figure where he can't let go. He can't let go. He can't let go. And he beats against the current into the past, and he tries his best to find his way back. But again, he's too well evolved, you know, like he's too good of a guy to let it happen, you know, or he's too good of a guy to do anything about it. He just wants to feel it, you know, he wants to revel in the self-pity a little bit, you know, like, there's a little bit of a, not a woe is me thing, but kind of a, like, I need to feel this one more time. I need to know that it's not going to work out, you know? I need to know that this is not an option anymore.
In this viewing, I don't know if it is, if they did set a date in stone, but like the day, no, because then 12 years actually passed, so that wasn't true. Because I thought that he already had a trip planned to America before they got married somehow, and then like he just happened to come anyway. But no, it was definitely he came knowing that she was married. Like that. 100%. So yeah, I guess. But he was. I mean, I feel like I do see. I don't have like, no one. The closest thing I have to relate to this is just someone that I grew up with that happened to move to Italy. That like everyone thought that we were dating, and like that we, I guess that we were a couple, but we were actually just friends the whole time. And so like it's the closest thing I have, but like it's not like a we've been searching for each other on Skype and we had a weird conversation. It's like, no, I don't know. It's
You're posting on Facebook walls like, hey, anybody know where to find this chick? Yeah.
So it's like, I can't relate too much, but the thing I think Hai Sung that I can relate to there is like wanting everything to kind of be perfect, or kind of like the hopeless romantic, like where it can get the better of you. I think sometimes of like you're kind of in this, you want everything to be dreamlike and it has to be perfect and everything. But then sometimes love happens to be, it could be in you. It could be like you brush, they take that brush of clothes on the street. It turns into one altercation and boom, that's how you meet the person you're going to be with for the rest of your life. Or it could be like Arthur and like at a, actually romantic at like a writing retreat, like the shot where she first sees him as well. Like I didn't realize how beautiful that really was, of him just like kind of walking up under the tree and all the lights. She's having like her morning coffee, and it's like, because he plays it up as like they didn't really have the most romantic beginnings. He's like, yeah, we moved in together because it was logical. We save money on rent, blah blah blah, and then we get married. And it's like, well, no, like you bumped into each other at a writing retreat, and he's like, I listened,
and
to
it's
all
so
of your...
funny. I'm sorry to interrupt. It's so funny that he kicks it off like, we met at an artist's retreat. Like that's cute, like, you're painting everything with a shit brush right now, but that is cute. But go ahead. But like, it's so funny that is, and he says it with such incredulity that he's like
ugh. Like, that's man, this is
what's
how we
that
met.
even?
These
No,
are
that's
our
fucking adorable.
beginnings.
You guys, you're kidding me. You bonded on common ground? What?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I guess he is competing with childhood love and like every
very
day
different.
they
very
want,
different.
so I guess like that is what he's comparing it to. But then like he does, I think, I don't know if he closes the conversation like that or near the end, he's kind of like, or like I was the one who listened to all of your ramblings on your, writing or like helped you with, and like actually said all of the things that were very, very true to her and not just kind of like a, like I don't want to say that Hae Sung, like his love or like isn't as true as Arthur's, but it is just more mature. I feel like it is actual. They have lived together. They know. I think each other on a deeper level.
Ideal. There's an ideal that has been conceived by Hae Sung of who she is, because. And what I love is that he actually does very genuinely always love her for who she is. It's just that he is, and this sounds negative, but he's delusional enough to think he fits into that anyway. Because he wants to. And you can't blame him. Nora is lovable as shit, even though she's stubborn as a fucking mule. Like I find her incredibly compelling as a person. But I know she would be exhausting. You know what I'm saying? Like, and not to say that anybody else wouldn't be, like, Arthur's got his kind of, personality pitfalls too. Like him going off on that tangent there, and then kind of being like, what if you had met somebody else? That's completely unfair, that's completely unfair. Exactly.
Like,
shit. That's not even close to, and I love her response to that, which was that this is my life. This is where I'm supposed to be. Like this is, it's not so much settling as it is making do. It's like, that's how life happened. And here we are, and we're sleeping. I'm sleeping next to you tonight. No? Like that is what's happening, isn't it? So why are you upset about this alternate reality that doesn't exist? And that's why I'm like, I'm not trying to be like, fuck Nora. No, I love Nora. I think Nora's a great character. And I appreciate, again, just how real these people are. Like, they do feel so genuine and authentic that I feel like I understand their extremely well-rounded personalities more than anything based off of this one couple days. you know, that happens at the end of the movie.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. Like
obviously we go through 24 years, but it's like half of the movie is 2 days.
Man, that is wild, because Haesung gets to America and there's like, whenever they have like their first day, like that's when the movie, I don't know, like the movie's good. The build up to it is nice, but like once Haesung arrives in America and they have their first kind of day and all of the turmoil kind of starts, is like, oh my God, I'm locked in kind of for the rest of the movie after that point. And then, yeah, I mean, I don't know, like there's not really anything truly negative about any of these characters. Like they're all like actually so mature and right. Yeah, like, and it is just their childhood selves coming out of them. I feel like it is the only reason I think Nora is like thinking or having maybe some second thoughts is like, yeah, these were my childhood memories and they were great. They were fantastic. Like this was a time of safety, a time of comfort, and like, so like, right. Obviously, like, you know,
the world was full of possibility, and and she communicates that really effectively. Again, like that's another thing that I love about Arthur and Nora specifically, is how healthy their communication is. Like, even if sometimes they say it the wrong way, they're saying it. You know, they're not leaving it unsaid, which is good. But like, whenever, you know, he's like, is he attractive?
Yeah.
And, you know, and she's like, yeah, I think he's attractive. You know, he's very masculine in this way that I find very Korean, and the way she says everything is very Korean. And very Korean and very Korean.
Was a dagger to Arthur's heart each time, I feel like.
Right. He's like, God damn, dude.
Damn, this
he's
dude
like,
just keeps getting better.
He's like, dude, I haven't told you that you exclusively dream in Korean yet.
Yeah.
He's like, I find this so inaccessible. But, you know, and then she says that, and he's like, are you attracted to him? And she doesn't straight up say no, which is very important. But what she does say is every bit as honest, which is, you know, she responds with, for so long, he was this 12-year-old boy in my head. Then he was an image on a screen. Now he's a physical person in front of me. And that's just a lot. And then Arthur concludes that conversation by going, when's he going home again?
Yeah.
You know, like, like, again, not completely not a completely unfair reaction. Like, that's why I appreciate just, again, how human it is, because he could have just gone, well, that wasn't a fucking no. You know, he could have gone off the rails and been like, it was a yes or no question. Why didn't you just say yes or no? You know, like, she gave a nuanced answer. He gives a clipped but nuanced response.
So when's he going home again? Yeah, when's this fucker getting thousands of miles away from us again?
And they do continue that conversation with the whole like, it's unfair for me to be mad. Da, 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 da. So again, they resolve that very quickly, and it really is the end of this movie that just seals it. You know, the bar interaction, not just between Nora and Haesung, whenever they take the image we'd seen previously and crop Arthur out of it. And flip it. They go behind them now, so you can see where we'd previously been looking from. And them talking about how whenever Haesung says, "Oh, this is a good one for me. I didn't think it would hurt this much to like your husband."
Ooh, yeah.
My God. What a fucking dagger, dude. Oh. Yeah. And again, she handles it so brilliantly.
Yeah, I mean, is that when she says, like, he's talking about you? Or is it, like, right after that moment, or is that before?
It's they start talking. I think it's right before, or either right before, or they have a bigger conversation about Arthur, and then it's after that.
Yeah, but, like, I feel like, because Arthur, his whole perspective of this thing is that his life's falling apart. Like, he truly thinks that, like, this might be the end. Like, I think for him, like, that's the state of mind he's in, even though he's trying to, like, show that he's confident and, like, you know, has trust and everything. I think it's still in the back of his mind, he's like, oh my God, this could come crumbling
She could
down.
decide she wants to run away. Yeah, like, and it's not, again, not a rational fear, but not a completely irrational one either.
Like, in the same way that Arthur is thinking that his wife of 12 years is going to leave him, also Haesung thinks that Nora will leave her husband of 12 years like for him. They both have this like like the same perspective kind of on Nora, but like Nora is just the only one to actually know them both and to actually, like but Hae-sung and Arthur have this they have to compete, like whether they kind of want to or not. It's just natural that they it's just the nature of how it is. But like, yeah, my headcanon is that like, no, they actually do make it to Korea eventually, and Hae-sung marries whoever he said he was with. He said they were taking a little break, but I think it was obviously for
again
this
based
reason
on
right
that
here.
And also you mentioned earlier that he has this idealized vision of what everything perfect could be, and that's why he explains they're not together, is because he's not an ideal candidate. He's not who he's supposed to be yet. Like that's just going to magically happen one day.
God damn it. Fuck. It's so, I don't know. At this point, I feel like I was very much in that boat of like trying to be, everything has to be crystal perfect before I even start to make a move or anything like that. Now it's just kind of like, whenever it happens, it just happens. It's like I'm just going with the flow of life. I don't have to be perfectly ready for everything. But now I'm just kind of in the camp of like, well, maybe just wait until graduation. Like maybe,
right.
I don't know. Maybe like just give me a little more time, and then it'll be good. But no, I was very much in the Hae-sung camp. I feel like probably still am, of just chasing perfection and everything. But the woman, I don't even know who it is. I'm not actually chasing someone. It's just a random figurehead that's in my a theoretical future that's out there. But yeah, it'd be nice to actually have a face to that. But then maybe I would truly be deluded. I would actually go across the world like him. But yeah, he's
right.
I mean, made to kind of be the perfect man, I feel like, in this movie, at least in the Korean perspective, of like went through military, did his work. He's is he already graduated, or does he say he still has some school left?
Pretty sure he's already graduated. He has a job now, and he doesn't like there's no overtime pay in Korea or whatever.
That's true.
Well, and I think it's really important that he's made out to be the perfect Korean man from the eyes of someone who is a Korean American now.
Yes.
And has has immigrated and has not lost touch with her base, but like she hasn't been to Korea in a very long time, and she hasn't gone home, and her mom's the only one who still calls her Na-young, her mom's the only one who still calls her by her Korean name, and like she even mentions, I have Korean friends, but he's not Korean American, he's Korean, and like there's again, not only is there an idealized version of her in his head, there's this idealized version of what the perfect Korean man is in her head, and it is him. Like it is him. Now, whether or not that's what she wants or needs is irrelevant to her, which I think is, I think it's really cool that the only person who never weighs the possibility is Nora. Like, I don't think there's a point in the movie where Nora is even thinking about leaving Arthur. I don't think it's ever on her radar. I don't think it's a thing that's possible for her. I think it's obvious that she is, she's reveling in this a bit. That's obvious. I mean, there's a tension that is indescribable between Hae-sung and Nora. Like, you don't, the moment they have on the train where their hands are like touching and they're like, they're looking deep into each other's eyes. And that is, by the way, that's like fresh off the reunion. They basically leave the meeting in the park and get on that train, and that's when that happens. Like that's, there's an obvious chemistry. But again, I think Nora is so practical that it's not like she's not thinking about him. Of course she's thinking about him. That's obviously something that's happening in her head, but I don't think it's ever like, I don't think there's ever a moment for Nora where she's like, oh shit, I might leave my husband for this guy.
Yeah. I guess the clue, when I was in the camp of my first viewing, when I thought she was leaving, the clues that I would always go to were like, during that at the bar, the conversation, like whenever they just started to speak more Korean too quickly for Arthur to keep up. And then like every time she would translate, it was very just kind of like, well, work is hard, or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that is just showing like when Arthur was like, there's a whole part of you that I just can't access. Like we
Right.
do love each other. We are married, but it's like, I literally just can't do it because it's just not in my capabilities. And they can just so easily kind of get there. Hae Sung and her. But I'd say she was never truly weighing the option of like leaving. I think it was just more of like lost in the sauce. She was just kind of very overwhelmed with emotion. And then and she, like at the very end, she was holding it in, but like she had, like you have to let that, I don't know, like you have to let that out.
Well, I love that she was holding it in and she doesn't realize she was holding it in until it comes out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's so much about Greta Lee's performance of that moment and what's incredible too is it's not a close up.
Yeah, no. Very wide shot. Yeah.
It's a very wide shot, and the amount you can perceive from her body language and her physical performance in that moment, the like evolution of her emotions, you can tell she's processing, you can tell she's thinking, you can tell she realizes, you can tell she loses it. And like, and then whenever it brims to the surface, she does try to keep it down for a second and then it's over, and whenever, and it's, props to John Magaro too. I love John Magaro and TOU. Greta Lee's the only performer we've said the name of.
True.
But John Magaro in that moment also does this really, really impressive thing where he's smoking. He sees her and sees her in a way that he hasn't seen her ever.
Yeah.
Ashes his cigarette, immediately stands up and goes to her. And like there's it's just so fucking sweet, dude. Like on all sides. Like Arthur's strength to be there for her in that moment, whether or not it's, like I know my interpretation of the cry is absolutely that, it's years and years and years of losing a side of herself, like we talked about Arthur being like, there's this whole side of you that I can't access, but that's a side of Nora that she's losing touch with. You know what I'm saying? Like she's not even as connected to it as she feels like she's supposed to be. So this man walks in and out of her life who embodies that side of her, who embodies her time in Korea, and then leaves, and all of a sudden all of that's further away than it's ever been again, and she loses it. And him having the empathy and understanding enough to not be like, well, this is obviously because you love him, but just going to her and hugging her, and that being the end of the movie. Fucking great stuff,
Then how one like thing that could give me pause right now, and not as at the ending, I'm still in the camp of she's staying where she is, she's not going to leave. But then there's just one part of the movie that like, why put this in here is it maybe just to drive the tension up, but it's when Hae Sung is saying like, so what award are you going for now? And maybe it's just a very Korean thing to, you have to strive for greatness. If you're not going for an award or to be recognized, maybe it's, whatever. But I think it is to show that like, either that she's happy with her life now, that she doesn't have to go for an award, because she does say like a Tony is kind of what I want. But I think it was just kind of like, yeah, I guess if I could win a Tony, that'd be nice. But it's more of like, I don't need the Pulitzer. I don't want the Nobel Prize anymore. Like she's kind of happy with her life. Or is it more of like, man, I guess with Hae Sung,
I guess I'm still a dreamer. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of the, he gives her food right before then as well, like in showing that she hasn't ate all day. I think she literally says like, oh no, I haven't eaten all day. And he's like, oh, well, eat this. He's always trying to get her to eat. Even on Skype, he was always like, no, you haven't eaten? Oh my gosh, hang up right now and go eat. So, there's
oh, and you watch this man eat and he fucking tackles his food. I love it. It's so funny. That man just mouthful of noodle after noodle. I fucking love it. No, you're absolutely right. I think that there's a fair or a healthy dose of him bringing out a side of her that she enjoys. You know, like it's not, but again, I think it is re-engaging that side of herself that she's losing touch with. And it's not strictly that that's the person she's supposed to be. It's that it's a part of the person she's supposed to be. You know, like, the version of herself now isn't wrong. You know, it's not like everything's wrong because I'm this way and I haven't found who I am because I've lost touch with my Korean self. I think it's more just that, like, this is me and that was me, and there's a healthy medium somewhere that she's working to find.
Yeah. And this at least ties the bow of their relationship. There's nothing kind of still left in the air. It is, you know, obviously I think those feelings will always be there. That's for sure. But it is like we've had this conversation at least, you know, like we have brought it up. We have been very, you know, clear about what is going on. And now we can actually live our lives now, or like, you know, fully live in the lives that we're in now. And because I kind of forgot that Hae Sung was just taking a break with whoever. I thought it was... I thought he said like, no, we broke up, like it's done.
No, we broke up. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is that there is that vagueness about it. That's kind of like,
is it? Yeah. Maybe he is lying.
Is it done? Like, is it? I think, like, yeah, that's where I'm like, there's a little bit of an open end there.
Yeah. Because before he leaves, he does go straight to the bar, and we're drinking till we die, boys. So I mean,
yes.
I mean, well, no, I guess that was actually after she told him.
That was after her other boys. That was after his boys breakup too.
Yeah.
It's okay, man. Let it out. It's good. It's healthy. You know, like I love that portrayal of boyhood, of brotherhood there. They'll be like, nah, bro, you're good. Let it out, bro. Cry. You'd be wrong to not feel shitty about it.
Sometimes the sad hours hit, you know, and you just gotta
sad hours hit. You gotta go. Dude.
Yeah. But no, yeah. So I mean, that's what I love so much about this movie is that it's three people, and Arthur is. I mean, he is a main proponent, very big, you know, character in the movie. But like, really, it's the love story between Nora and Hae Sung that then you have to accept that it is Nora and Arthur from that point on. But like, it's three people, and like the fact that this much complication or this much, like, it really throws a wrench in their lives. Like he travels halfway across the world to like get closure, you know, and that's just it. And to think of the rest of the world at the same time, like this is happening everywhere, not in the same exact way, but just is
somewhere, somehow.
Gnarly. Like,
no, it's a gorgeous movie. And, you know, you spoke about how, like, this is the love story between Hae Sung and Nora, and this kind of ties a bow on it for them. And going back to that, Greta Lee's performance of her not realizing how much it weighed on her. You know, I think that goes back to the part where not only is she losing touch with her, I don't know, I feel weird as a white guy claiming that she's losing touch with her culture, because that doesn't feel right. That doesn't feel good to say. But I do think it's an important, healthy dose of what she's feeling. Because I think she does a very, very active job to push that part of herself down too. You know, like she says, I've moved to New York. I'm going to make something for myself here. I can't be looking for flights to Seoul, and I can't be doing this, and I can't be doing that, and I can't get lost in what's going on there. I have to focus on what's here. So this yearning that Hae Sung has is incredibly one-sided, and I don't think she realizes that she was burying it, you know? Like she buried it with her old self a little bit, you know. How you don't cry anymore, you know, like you don't cry anymore. She's like, no, I don't cry. I can't cry here. You know, like it's not, she came here and she became a different person. And again, that version of herself isn't the wrong way to be. It's just a different way to be.
Because Hae Sung never really had to hide that. He was
No.
stayed in Korea, and those feelings never went away, or the feelings never went away for either of them. But he never had a reason to truly have to bury it, other than like maybe
Right.
I just don't want to think about it because it's sad, and it makes me feel bad that she's gone. I think would be the only reason.
God, whenever she dumps him over the FaceTime call or the Skype call, and he goes, God, why am I like this?
Yeah. No.
God, I felt that so
he's
fucking hard.
I think this is a good idea. As he's, absolutely he's shattered, after hearing that. He's like, yeah, no, fuck. What? He's so confused. He's like, wait, what the fuck am I feeling right now? He's like, no, this is not okay. But he clearly knows what's going on. He just doesn't want to admit it to her or himself right in that second. I think he's just, yeah, he was. But yeah, I think I never really thought of her forcing the bury. Like she had to kind of make her life in America happen the way that it did. And yeah, it did kind of suck. It does kind of sting, whenever she is like, no, we just can't even talk anymore. And it's like, but why? You keep doing what you're doing and just talk. But it's like, but no, if you're talking, it is going to be only in lover turn, way. There's just emotions flowing every time they.
Yeah, and him being like, I don't even know why. It's not like we were together, and she's like, yeah, but yeah, like there's a reason we're having this conversation,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you wouldn't have to actually say it, if you weren't together,
There was no just drifting apart for these two, you know what I'm saying? They needed the finality that both of these interactions brought. And God, the fact that they just, it's just so beautiful that they have, obviously grow up together. That's a very long time, 10, 12 years, however long it is. And then it's a couple months in their early 20s where they Skyped every day. And that's all that was just every day for a couple months. They interacted every day, and that's that. And then they have this final interaction that's a couple days, dude. Like the amount of impact that has on a lifetime is so, and again, that's just so fucking real of how any small thing can just completely devour your days.
Yeah. The movie was already beautiful and it get me to think of the real world and get me to just think on love in general terms. Like I was already there. And then she just hits or throws a line out that I don't know how I didn't pick up in the first place. But it is when they're having their first day. Hae-sung just got back to America. And it's like after the merry-go-round, I think, and they're just kind of walking, or maybe walking to the merry-go-round. And she says that it's like planning why Arthur and her argue. Hae-sung couldn't comprehend that. He's like, wait, you argue? Or like you fight? Like we never fight. Like that's weird. And she's like, no, it's just like planting two trees in a pot at the same time. Our roots just need to find their place. And it's like, I love, like I feel like a perspective on love that I like even more of like you are in the same pot. And yes, if you look at it from the lens of like you're trying to fight over the same space to compete for your roots, you can look at it that way, that you're competing against each other, or it's like to fully mutually share the same pot together, like you are figuring out how to link together to actually solidify those roots in a way, or like it is, But yeah, like this movie at first for me was more devastating than anything. Like the ending was kind of like, no, wait, I actually wanted her to run away. Like I wanted that childhood love to come back. But now I see her not fulfilling that as more beautiful than if she did run away. So it is like, it's crazy how.
And that's what's so fascinating is that the devastation that comes with the end of this movie, because it still sends me into choking sobs, is again, it's not sad. And but it's also not joyous. There's not a lot of movies that find this area that make me cry, and I can't really exactly pinpoint what emotion I'm going through while I'm crying. And I don't know if it's just empathy. it's just this character and this performance of that character that has been so comprehensive and full. And we get all of these references to how she doesn't cry anymore and how she doesn't cry anymore and how she doesn't cry anymore. And then she lets that happen and she becomes, she's her, you know, it almost feels like a self-actualization at the end of this movie, which is, it's incredible. And I don't know. I think that I haven't ever really seen a truly like negative review for Past Lives, but I don't feel like I've seen nearly enough overwhelming positivity for it either. It's a really fascinating movie to kind of find everyone to be neutral on, just specifically because I love it so fucking much. I don't know. I don't know how.
I wonder if it's just that it isn't the spectacle that usually follows a love story, you know? Like, I'm very early in the romance movie game, but I feel like usually you're like, okay, well, that just doesn't happen on like a given day or week or whatever. Like this is played up for the movie a little bit. There's really nothing.
Yeah, you know, La La Land, this guy opens his own jazz club and she's become the biggest movie star in Hollywood. You know, like that's not every day. You know, like
it's nice to have in the movie and it does play for an entirely different feel, but this just is like, these are people. These are like there is no barrier between like movie
even
and
within
real life.
The story.
Like,
even in the story, they go, "This isn't a story. This is real life."
Yeah.
You know, like it's just really profoundly personal and beautiful. And you know, you off mic, and actually, this is interesting. We covered Challengers New Year's Eve, 2024, going into 2025. We cover this January 2nd, 2026. So nearly, almost exactly a year apart, we talked these movies, which were penned by husband and wife. Challengers was written by Justin Kuritsky's, Celine Song's husband. Now, I don't mean to psychoanalyze anything, but it would appear that perhaps they need to have a conversation about things.
Yes, this is, it might be showing through a little bit, or this is obviously coming from somewhere. This isn't, oh, hey, I randomly came up with this really good story for a movie. We should totally write about it. And but like this, maybe that's why my view of the ending has changed so much. Is like, I have never been married. I don't know what that truly feels like. The longest relationship I've had is 1.5 years total. So it's like, I don't know what that feeling is at all. But I think like, as I've just grown like I can try to think of what I would do in these situations and everything. And I think perspective on love is solidified a little more. I don't think it's truly changed, but I think I just know it a little clearer.
It's set.
And, and this is, it isn't the spectacle of like a love, or like a Titanic, where it is like that shit. Oh my God, we're all about to die, but we love each other. It's like, that it reaches a different height for a different reason. But this is like, it makes me, every emotion under the sun. It is happy. It is sad. It is devastating. It is beautiful. I don't know. There's not
very
one word.
Human. It's just very human. It's kaleidoscopic.
There we go.
Yeah.
I like that.
Let's dig into the bag a little bit.
That.
Let's get to the vocabulary.
I mean, you love someone.
It feels
they're eventually gonna die. You know, I mean, I know I'm going dark here, I guess, but like, you know, you will eventually have to say goodbye one way or the other, and it's like, no matter what in relationships or love.
Not me, bro. I'm peacing out. No, I'm just kidding.
So I mean,
no, you go down. I'm going with you. No, definitely not. I don't know. Who knows?
I mean, The Last of Us. I know that's a zombie situation or whatever, but like dying in each other's arms, like with the poison or whatever, like that. Like, I don't want to have to get to that situation, but like to be able to die at the same time in each other's arms would kind of
Romance.
be sick. Like, yeah,
That's romance, baby.
like
that is romance.
somehow by old age,
Jack slipping into the water to save Rose. Let's fucking go.
Mm-hmm.
Them dying in the same. I don't know. Regardless,
it's love, Tars. I mean, it's just
it's
love. That's
Tars.
the one word.
I actually just remembered something about the movie I selected to be the 4th movie this month. History is Made at Night.
Yeah.
It's not that I just remembered it. It's that I hadn't fully connected. I may have to change that movie.
Uh-oh.
Because it shares a pretty glaring characteristic with Titanic.
Mm-hmm.
And they might be they're definitely not similar movies. And I don't know how to broach the topic without spoiling History is Made at Night, because it's a good enough movie that you should watch it anyway. But the ending is completely like, wait, what?
Okay.
Okay. I'll just say it. They're basically on the Titanic at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And you have no idea, that's how the movie's going to end. They're going to be on a giant sinking boat.
Okay, I thought you meant it's literally the Titanic as well. Like it is actually the.
It is not literally the Titanic. It is definitely supposed to be the Titanic.
Wow. Okay, because when did that actually go down? Was it?
That happened in 1912, and that movie came out in the 30s.
Damn.
So
it was actually
1939.
Fresh,
so it was fresh.
Yeah, damn.
It was 20 something years fresh. That's why I'm like, oh shit. You know what? I might need to pick another just old romance movie, because that one, having 2 movies within a couple weeks where they're like the Titanic's sinking.
Oh no!
Might be a little goofy. Just for a coverage sake. Just to get a little bit more variety in there. I've got another oldie goodie that we can go with. I don't know what you said. I think it was just the mentions of Titanic made it occur to me that is something that happens in History is Made at Night.
Damn, that's how that movie ends. Yeah, that's I mean, maybe.
Regardless, we're going to be spending the month with romance movies anyway. Yeah. Watch History is Made at Night.
Yeah. I'm all in the. I don't know. Starting here, we started with a damn great one. I mean, as far as romance
it's a high. It
go
is
for
a high.
me, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I do love La La Land, but it's like a different love. It is, it's more fun. It's a musical. It's a whole different vibe.
It's Hollywood, baby. Yeah.
This is just. Oh my God! This is
That's
more artful.
Life.
I feel like. This is very much. Very human. Yeah, I hate to say real and human. I don't know why. It just makes me feel like it.
I know why.
I feel like I say
why.
it too much.
It's because of American fiction.
Is it? Yes. Oh, it's so real. He's so real.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh my God.
They use that in the context of discussing life, growing black existence in America, and referencing that as real and human and authentic. And it's like, okay, let's let's come up with some new adjectives, but no, there are certain things that undoubtedly in movies, in fiction, are depicted with a certain nuance that you can only really perceive in real life and rarely applies to fiction. And I think that this is one of those. There's not a lot of movies that still manage to give you that will they, won't they feel. Because will they, won't they's typically end very dramatically. Either someone gets left or someone does a emphatic leaving. There's no big fallout here. There's no big fight. There's no, like the classic third act structure is that, there's a fight at the beginning of the third act. They're back together by the end of it. And that's that. There's none of that here. Yeah. Even La La Land, one of the, nearly a best picture winner, a best picture nomination, has the third act fight that leads them down different paths. And then they find their way back together, but not in the way you'd think, but not in the way you'd think. And even, so they subvert the expectation there. But they still play into that structure, while this movie does nothing to play into a pre-established structure for romance. And I think that ultimately makes it feel, again, just like life, just very, very genuine.
I'm thinking of shots like Arthur, whenever he's snuggling, up with Nora, and he just has the leg
God, I
fully
love that
over her.
shot.
God, I mean that's such a. I love that cuddling.
That's peak cuddles.
Oh my God,
That's peak cuddles.
That I could just
and that's actually a reference. It's actually a reference.
Really?
There's a picture of look up John Lennon, Yoko Ono cuddling.
No way, John Lennon. And who?
Yoko Ono. Yoko Ono. YOKOONO.
Let's see. Iconic photo of John Lennon. Let's see. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. He's fully just naked. Bro is naked. And
yeah, they're both butt-ass naked. Sorry, yeah.
No, fully clothed. John Lennon's the only naked one.
I see.
Yeah, that's interesting. It looks like, no, there's multiple. This was a photo shoot. And yeah, they eventually... both got naked. They were both fully clothed, and then John Lennon's only naked, and then they're both naked. So yeah, this is
okay.
Wow.
Cool. Yeah, no. So yeah, that's the fun little reference shot there for an iconic. I believe it was Life magazine.
Rolling Stones.
Rolling Stones. Yes. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So at least yeah. But wow, I didn't know. I thought that was just kind of like a. It's a cuddling position that I feel like guys don't want to admit to that it is fucking prime.
That shit rules.
But no, it's gas. It is actually just the best.
That is peak. That's where I want to be. God, I'm just such a sucker for physical touch. Mm-hmm. I cuddle with friends, like there's obviously an intimacy to cuddling with like your girlfriend, but dude, I will if I love you, I'll cuddle you. I don't care. I mean, I don't care, bro. Who wants to fucking cuddle? Let's do it.
There is something that is like a touch. Something it does fundamentally change what is going. Like that is why the subway scene, whenever their hands are less than an inch away, and that's the tension is that they are so close but not touching, but having
they
moment.
Can't.
Yes, that is like.
But they can't, and again, context is everything too. Like. Am I friends with certain people that I'm like, ooh, I shouldn't cuddle you? Yeah. That would be inappropriate. It's all context based. This is true. But
the court of public
man,
opinion.
I love past lives. Mm-hmm. I love past lives, and I don't think it's going to change ever.
No, it is only.
You know what, Joe?
Yeah.
You know what, Joe? Me and you, we have Inyan.
We do have Inyan, I would say.
We do have Inyan.
Must.
What are we going to be to each other in our next lives?
That's true. What? And then, a fun also thought, what were we in the previous?
What were we before?
Were we a, old-timey sportscaster, or whatever? were we,
Jackie Robinson coming to the plate?
Oh, fuck! Yeah, and then, fuck!
Have you seen that video?
Yes, we were the inciting moment of, whenever we truly, I don't know. Yeah, when what died? What was the? Oh man,
the transatlantic accent.
Oh, yes.
Is that a Shane Gillis bit? Is that who did that?
I think
it's a Shane Gillis.
Yes.
I think it's a Shane Gillis bit where he's like, white people just lost the transatlantic accent the moment Jackie Robinson hit a home run. Yeah. Jackie Robinson coming to the plate. Oh, fuck. There it goes. It's gone.
And there it goes. And he's making his way around the bat. Yeah, and then just straight white, normal where we are.
Oh, God, that's so funny. God, transatlantic accents ruled, though.
I know.
Those were the shit. We definitely had a transatlantic accent in a past life, though. And we definitely did have them in conversation with one another. That's my headcanon. That's my headcanon for my past life.
See? Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, see?
But good old Inyan. Yeah, no, I can't believe I didn't even really go into Inyan. But yeah, everything about this movie is just beautiful.
Oh, Inyan.
That is
I'm a sucker for it. I'm a sucker for that concept. It's just something Korean people say to get laid. Love that. I love that too. But with that, we can conclude this episode. And I'll do some plugs. We'll rate this movie, and then we'll get out of here. Leave a 5-star rate and review and download wherever you might be listening. Check out our other shows. We've got Fire Pod with Me, a Twin Peaks podcast. Friendly to the first-time viewer and the rewatcher alike. I'm rewatching it. Joe's watching it for the first time. Regardless of whether or not you want to listen to a podcast about Twin Peaks, you should watch Twin Peaks. And then if you happen to want a podcast about it after, we've got it. We also have the show Geek with Me, which upon the completion of Fire Pod with Me, will likely see a little bit of an uptick in production, and Fire Pod with Me is set to conclude in February, so we're less than 2 months out from the conclusion there. So Geek with Me, tons of shit over there. We just did a live commentary of Star Wars The Force Awakens on Was that Christmas? Was that Christmas that we did that? It was Christmas.
Yes.
We released it the 26th.
Yes.
But we recorded it on Christmas. So you got to check that out. We had a lot of fun doing that. You should watch the movie with us and follow along, geek with me. But let's rate this thing on a scale of 1 to 10. Is Past Lives a 10 for you too?
I mean, I don't know how it kind of can't. It's beyond the screen. I mean, but also it helps that it does look really, really good, and that
It does look really good.
and like also like I know I'm jumping the gun on a lot of Titanic things. I feel like, but it is like how Kate Winslet is like just on screen. It's like holy shit, yes.
Oh,
like, Greta
yes.
Lee has that juice, you know. Like I feel like
She
is,
does.
It is like I mean she was
That
beautiful and
opening,
pretty
that
before.
introductory shot of her driving into New York when the sun is
Ugh.
just beating down on her.
Ooh.
Fucking Christ.
She's got it.
God, she's beautiful.
Mhm.
Unbelievable looking woman.
And so like I mean it isn't just the you know where it gets me to go. That is I feel like the largest reason I am pulled to this movie. It is like what the story it is telling. But yeah, it also helps when everything else I can't really complain much about either. So yeah, love, you can't put a number on that. So it's got to be perfect. It is the only perfect
It's
thing
gotta
I
be
think we
perfect.
have in this world, maybe. So I'm there. At
Booyah.
least.
Booyah. That's a 10, baby. That's a 10. We love those. Yeah, I'm there. It's a 10. It's a 10 across the board for me. So a 10 on the old Cinementalimeter. Talk about getting the year started on the right foot, baby. And I don't think it's going to be the last one this month. Looking
That's
at
true.
you, January
You got a
10th, Titanic.
good month.
We got a good month lined up. We got a great month lined up. I'm so fucking ready. But yeah, so we'll be back next week, next Saturday, not next Friday, but next Saturday. We'll be celebrating my 26th birthday
Let's go.
with an episode on Titanic. I cannot wait. Let's fucking get it. Come on back next week, baby. But with that, I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here, homie.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, I wonder what we were to each other in our last life.